This program is brought to you by Pussy Magnets.
Put a midge on your friends with a pussy magnet.
Welcome, my lovely lumps. Or should I say lovely labs? I'm so thrilled to have you here in the Labia Lounge to yarn about all things sexuality, womanhood, holistic health, and everything in between. Your legs. Can never help myself. Anyway, we're going to have vag loads of real chats with real people about real shit. So buckle up. You're about to receive the sex ed that you never had and have a bloody good laugh while you're at it. Before we get stuck in, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this, the Menang people. It's an absolute privilege to be living and creating dope podcast content on Noongar country, and I pay respect to their elders past, present, and emerging. Now, if you're all ready, let's flap and do this. Oh God, is there such thing as too many vagina jokes in the one intro? Whatever, I'm leaving it in. It's my podcast.
Don't panic, you're not broken. Your sex education was a piece of shit. Get your flaps out and pull up a couch. It's the Labia Lounge.
Hey, all you labial ledgehammers. Great to have you back in the lounge with me today because this is going to be a super special and pretty unique episode in that it's my first solo cast. And I don't even really know if I'm using that term correctly. I feel like I've just heard like big podcasters call it a solo cast when they do it on their own, but I do recognize that I sound like a wanker, so don't worry about that. I'm all over it. But I'm just going to be on my own here today, partly because I didn't want to end the season on the last episode, which was about eczema, and I'm pretty sure one of the last things I said was something about my flaky flaps. And because I'm going on a little holly bob back over to Melbourne to visit my friends and fam, which I'm fucking so excited about, and also to take the Labia Lounge on tour. So I actually got approved to do like a live Labia Lounge Pussy Couch installation vibe at Strawberry Fields Festival, but that has now been cancelled due to flooding, so Devo. But I'm also doing the Labia Lounge live at Elysium Gathering, which is a smaller doof in the Grampians, and I'm super pumped to basically see how this space goes as a live interactive thing. And Max, who's been on the potty before from the TMI Battle of the Exes, he is building me, as we speak, a big cunt couch. A big flappy pussy couch with like plush velvet, and it's all going to be very lush and vulval and ideally look as close to the Labia Lounge couch in the cover art cartoon as possible. So that's all pretty exciting, and soon enough we will have footage of that, interacting with festival goers, maybe doing some workshops or some live potties at the doof. And so in order to go over and take a bit of a holiday, well, a working holiday, and do that, I am going to take, I don't know, 2-3 weeks off the podcast, basically just because I couldn't get my shit together and record enough in advance because I'm also moving house to Perth. So I'm like, whatever. People have seasons. They take breaks. They do like, so maybe I've just done season 1. It's actually lined up with almost the 1-year anniversary of starting this podcast. So I think this is like the 52nd or 53rd episode, which kind of works out well because I launched with 5 and then now there's basically a year's worth of weekly podcasts, and I think that I've earned a little break. So this will be the last episode in, I guess, the season, because I'm just calling it that now. And yeah, I didn't want to end it on the on the flaky flaps outro from last week's episode. And I also had this really beautiful experience a while back. Lach and I were celebrating our anniversary, and I did this disgustingly cute romantic thing, as I do. And I pulled out all of these journal entries, which were also kind of letters to him before I'd met him. And like over the time that I'd just freshly met him. And I read them to him because he'd kind of known. I mean, if you've heard one of my first podcast episodes with Chloe Adriana, that I launched with back in December last year, you will know a little bit about the backstory with Lach and I. That is actually such an amazing, still one of my favorite episodes, and one of the episodes I get the most messages about, people just saying how much they relate to it and how helpful it was to hear, other women speaking about this whole thing of like dating and being single in your late 20s and 30s. Because, Chloe and I were both chatting about, the shame that we felt in how desperately bad we yearned for a partner, and how much we wanted to meet our person. And did this make us not a feminist, or were we not independent enough? Did we not have enough self-love? Were we even ready to meet that person? And so we kind of discussed all sorts of stuff around dating, like the dating world, dating apps, how you don't come on too strong, how you don't fuck it up when you do finally meet that person, and attachment styles and things like that, and just our journeys with it. Because I was partnered with Lachie already by then, and she was still single, although, little teaser here, she has now met someone who may just be her person. Or if you've heard that episode, this is a pretty deep cut reference, but she may have found her cum lord. And he's one of my friends. Oh my God. And he listened to the podcast episode after they met, of course, but still. So I'm trying to get them on, or at least her on the podcast, to tell us all about that as like a where are they now kind of installment where we revisit that. And so I thought it was really fitting that maybe I revisit that episode by following up on the letters and journal entries that I spoke about in that episode. So if you haven't listened to it, would highly recommend going and listening to that first for some context. But, if you can't be fucked, it's probably the longest episode I've ever done as well. Just some context. I basically, by the time I was gearing up to meet Lachie, who is my person, my partner in life, I was just like, where the fuck is he? I was ready. I was beyond ready. Or at least I thought I was for a really long time. And I was so keen to make that shit happen. So I'd written, probably it was almost exactly 2 years before I met him, that I had written this letter that was like a letter to my dream person, my ideal lover. And I just wrote this letter that I described him and how it would be. And I used that to do rituals to manifest him. And in the beginning, I was really hard out with it when I first wrote the letter back in 2018. And I, made some sigils and some intentions and did some sex magic and put some period blood on it and, did the things, and nothing happened. And then 2 years later, I was like, all right, what the fuck? Okay, I am doing this thing. And I think the difference at this point was that I had released a lot of the shame that I'd felt around just really wanting a fucking boyfriend, and being pretty over being single. Been single for quite a while. And a big thing for me that with Chloe and I discussed in the first potty episode about this stuff is that we really felt kind of embarrassed and a bit ashamed that we wanted it so bad. And I think telling, me starting to admit it to myself, and then telling people, like my friends first, like, I really want a partner. Like, I'm lonely. I'm fucking lonely, and I don't want to be single anymore. And I feel like I, deserve to meet my person. So admitting that to myself was the first step, telling friends and being more open about that. And then the next step was like telling dudes that, if I was dating, I wouldn't come on crazy strong right from the get-go, and on the first date be like, all right, are you my baby daddy or what? Before we'd ordered entrees. But I was a lot more clear about what I was after, and because I didn't hold the shame anymore around really wanting that and seeking that, I was more upfront about it, and I kind of weeded out the ones that, didn't have the potential or weren't in the place to, embark on something that could turn into a more serious commitment. Because as Chloe and I talk about, there's a lot of non-committal stuff going on. There's a lot of avoidant attachment that would trigger our own anxious attachment. So pretty much, I'd gotten to the point where I was like, fuck it. Like, I don't even care who knows. I'm lonely and I want a partner, and I thrive in relationship. I am still, a strong, independent woman doesn't mean I can't also crave and yearn for connection and intimacy and having, someone who's got my back. So all this is to say that, like, I got very serious about manifesting this. I was like, that's it, enough's enough. And the fucking pandemic had started and I was just like, oh my God. So I revisited the original letter and I got it out every night and I would read it out loud and then have a little meditation where I'd visualize the feeling of this hypothetical man standing behind me with his arms around me. And I would just kind of picture settings and scenarios and what that would feel like that would actually feel like to have him there, and what that would mean in my life. And I just really went with it, and I'd light a candle or I'd fucking do some juju and witchy shit, got creative with it. And then I also started writing like each night, or it was meant to be each night, but it ended up being a little bit less regular. But I took a lot of comfort in writing in my journal regularly, to this person. So I hadn't met him. I didn't have a name or an image of him, but I would write like to this dream boo and tell him about my day and talk about the things I looked forward to doing together and just put so much intention into that and into manifesting that. And yeah, feeling like I was writing to him even though I hadn't met him yet, which is pretty cute, pretty corny, and only took a month from when I started those journal entries until I met Lachie. And then there's a few journal entries that keep going after I've met him, and then it drops off because we just were so madly in love I didn't have fucking time anymore, and I kind of just like couldn't be bothered because I was like, well, I got what I wanted. But I do need to get back into journaling. So I actually, like, while I was reading these to him, I was like, damn, this is like pretty cool because everything in them basically was so accurate and completely came true. Like, he basically is almost every single thing on the list and in the letters that I wrote about what he would be and the things we would do together and how it would feel. And, it's so uncanny, how spot on it is. And so a lot of this won't maybe mean heaps to you guys, but if you know him or you know us or what we get up to, it will be even more kind of like, whoa. And him listening when I was reading them out, he was just like gobsmacked. And it was really Spesh. It was so Spesh. So I am going to read them to you. I was a bit like, oh, it's just going to be like I'm up myself and I'm just like, look at my thick relationship. But where I'm coming from with this is like, one, who doesn't love reading other people's journals? Like, if you were, like, one of my friends was saying, well, when I've house sat before, we used to house sit for this like old lady who just lived the most incredible, crazy life. And we found her like old journals once and we totally read some of them and it was like a movie. And I'm not going to name names, but like, I've done that. I've totally done that. It's pretty morally bendy. But like, it's kind of like this really intimate glimpse into someone's life, which is interesting for starters. But my intention behind this is to, I guess, show people what's possible, in a way. I guess like when I didn't have a partner, hadn't had really any sort of solid, healthy relationships. I'd had some beautiful ones, but probably pretty dysfunctional in the end. And I didn't have any healthy relationships role modeled to me. Like I couldn't really find any examples of that. I hadn't had that growing up. I didn't really know anyone that was in a relationship that I would want to emulate. And so part of my like process in doing the work on myself to basically get to a point where I was ready to call in my dream person was finding couples that I thought were really wonderful and that I would like to be like, or have something similar to. And then I would like kind of study them. Like I would ask them questions, I'd pin them down and be like, okay, ask some questions about their relationship and how they met and how that went down and what, as much as I could to kind of, I guess, show my brain like what is possible and have some ammunition that sort of countered all of the really dysfunctional, toxic, unhealthy relationships that had been modeled to me and that I saw all around me. So Lacey Phillips calls this like finding expanders, and an expander can be like a person or a relationship or a business or something that you want to work towards that shows your brain what's possible and expands your perception of what's possible for you. And so it expands this like potentiality in your brain. And I did that with relationships, and I'm kind of hoping that in a way this might, not only be a little bit interesting because it's a very intimate glimpse into my inner workings and my relationship, but also, it could be expansive for you if you're feeling lonely, you want to find a partner, you want to improve, things in your, I don't know, intimate life, relationships. So anyway, it's a pretty massive spiel off the top, but I guess we'll see how this goes. I've never done a solo cast, and I'm bleeding out my fanny right now, so I'm not going to be as charismatic and on point as I usually am, obviously, especially with no one to bounce off. So I actually tried doing a solo podcast once in the beginning, and it was so weird and clunky and just like cheesy to try to bounce off myself that I never published it. But, Lachie wouldn't agree to be on the podcast, sadly. He's too scared. Totally understandable, but I am working on it, and I'm hoping that doing this episode, he will agree. He's almost there. I've almost got him across the line. I hope he'll agree to be on the potty in the new season. If this is the last episode in this season, he might be on the first. So hold tight. I'm going to work on that, and it would be a really nice 1 year celebration of the podcast to get him on here as well. But we'll see how we go. All right, so I'm going to read the original letter that I wrote back at the very beginning of 2018, when I wanted to start manifesting my person. And like, bear in mind, all of this is like very cheesy and a little bit embarrassing for me. It's pretty cringeworthy. So, I don't know what else to say. Like, I guess I'm trying to presence that before I read it all because I'm feeling nervous and I'm like, oh my God. Just know that I know. I fucking know. Okay. I laugh at myself. All right. So, dear love of my life, I'm looking forward to meeting you finally. I don't know how far away you are, but I can feel you coming. My soul knows you already, and when I meet you, it will feel familiar and safe. You will fully meet me, see me, and accept me. You will adore me and appreciate things about me that most don't even notice. You will know and understand my flaws, fears, and insecurities, and love me even more for it. You will respect me deeply as I you, and we will not create any drama between us or feed unhelpful patterns within each other or the relationship. Look at me, I'm so about the personal development work, hey? I will be ferociously attracted to you and will be intimately compatible and make incredible love. You'll gaze into my eyes for hours, speak fluid spiri, and value holistic health and sacred sexuality. This was back in my sacred sex tantra days. But you'll also laugh with me over rough chuckle humor, and our banter will be on a level of its own. You'll not take yourself too seriously, and you'll be cheeky, playful, and hilarious. Underlined hilarious. You'll appreciate me for how hilarious I am too, and we will bring this out in one another and laugh for hours on end together. You will be clever, articulate, confident, thoughtful, caring, romantic, warm, open-minded, compassionate, creative, adventurous, and mature. You'll be in touch with your divine masculine as well as feminine side and have a wonderful balance of the two, being emotionally and self-aware. You work on yourself. Together, we support one another's individual growth and expansion. We motivate and inspire each other, and we have impeccable communication. We care about the same things and put energy into these together. You are stable and know yourself. You are ready for me. and know what you want. And you want me. Mate, so many fucking dudes would come along and I'm like, I'm ready. And they're just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't know who I am. I don't know if I'm ready. So that was a big one. I was like, he's got to know what the fuck he wants and he's got to be ready for me. And you want me because I'm the most incredible person you've ever met. And I feel the same about you. We are a team, a unit. We are autonomous, but I can count on you and you'll always have my back. You are constant. And our love and connection develops into something deeper and more profound than anything we've ever experienced before. I can't wait to meet you, dear one, though I can. I can wait because I know it'll be worth the wait, and I feel you coming. Cute. So that was the original letter. I almost know that off by heart because I read that out every fucking night, and I used that as my touchstone. Like that was my anchor. I was like, okay, this is what I want from a relationship and this is what it's going to fucking be like. Yo. So, you should see the original copy of that. It's just like covered in all sorts of miscellaneous things, bodily fluids and whatnot. No, I mean, it's mostly just a bit of period blood and I guess dirt. Okay, so then at the start of 2020, a couple of years later, I wrote like a dream boo list and literally says dream boo. And I'm just going to say like in advance, pretty much everything on this list except for wealthy and maybe one or two other things, like Lachie is exactly this, like everything on this list. Tall, super attractive, hilarious, edgy, got grit, can laugh at himself, un-PC sense of humor, romantic, reliable, doesn't let me down, flake, or disappoint me, great at communicating and transparent and honest, amazing intimacy, affectionate, clever and intelligent, articulate, good grammar and spelling. Knob over here. Who else's vag just gets dry when someone texts you and they've got your and you're wrong? Reads books. Okay, well, that one, he's working on it. He's been reading a book that I lent him when we first met 2.5 years ago now. And he's like a quarter of the way through it. So, he's doing his best. Creative, plays music / is musical, raps or sings, enjoys yoga, active and keeps in good shape, healthy / health conscious, wealthy and financially successful and abundant. I mean, we're getting there. Generous, autonomous, secure attachment style, smells great, important, playful and cheeky, spontaneous, thoughtful, compassionate, sensitive and strong, emotionally mature, social and confident, loves themselves, that's an important one, easygoing and down to earth, loves to cook, loves / gives surprises, takes initiative, takes the lead, good at making decisions, grounded, loving as fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay, it's double-sided. Sorry, you thought the list was over. Into sacred sexuality and holistic health, open-minded, good-natured, beautiful eyes and smile, takes psychedelics with me, explores spirituality and consciousness, does personal development, responsible but takes risks, brave and courageous, loves affection and is publicly affectionate with me, great at giving massage and touch, important to me, good kisser, sensual and has healthy sexuality and balanced masc and femme, passionate about what he does, lives on purpose, encouraging and supportive of me, appreciates my sense of humor and incredibleness because I'm sick. Oh my God, I underlined sick. Family man, great with kids, wants kids, likes dogs / animals, wants to grow together, wants to be a team with me, deep voice, beautiful hair, juicy lips, great cock, fab rig, clean and tidy, feminist. So that was my master list. Wow, there's a fucking lot of things on that list. You don't have to get that specific, but I was like, why not? And he's nailed it. I've nailed it. Okay, so then Let me see. Then I've got, some stuff that that we'll do together, and this was all part of, I just got super detailed about manifesting exactly what I was after. We will go to festivals together, take psychs together, go on adventures, go to gigs, get pets, buy a house, have a dope wedding, have a family, amazing sex, watch movies in bed together, cuddle in the mornings before we get up, walk to get breakfast or chai together, cook dinners for each other and together, go traveling together, live overseas, read books in bed together, go on road trips, pick mushrooms, body paint naked, write songs and raps about one another, do epic massage swaps and pleasure dates. He'll throw a surprise party for me and often do romantic things and surprises. I mean, that's more my thing. He's not super into that. But anyway, I've just always wanted someone to throw me a surprise party, especially because my birthday's on Christmas Eve, which is like the fucking biggest shit show. It's like such a fucking jib. So I never really get a proper party. And everyone's like, Christmas, jeez. And I'm like, but it's my birthday. Why won't anyone throw me a party? Anyway, I'm still waiting on the surprise party. But, yep, anyway, go on trips to Bunnings together, go to family events together, make funny videos together, do gardening and DIY projects together, dance and dance sage together. So this is like while we're dancing at like a festival or a gig or something, also like massaging one another on the dance floor in the dance moves. Anyway, it's just a little thing that I like to do. So then I start writing him letters each night. And the first one's on the 7th of the 5th, 2020. Hey, Sugar Nips. I'm writing to you because I am lonely and deeply, deeply hopeful that I'll meet you soon. I yearn for the kind of love, companionship, excitement, and depth of connection that we will have, and I am acutely aware that I am currently lacking this badly. It makes me feel somewhat better and less alone to be writing this to you, a thus far unmanifested hypothetical boyfriend, in the hopes that one day you'll be real and in my world and reading this. How fucking crazy this would seem to the average man, and how pathetic must I be to be so lonely and desperate to find my person that I am doing this. But I think it's healthy, and I know you'll understand. Maybe even think it cute. Either way, writing is helping me in this moment during the great COVID-19 pandemic while I'm in isolation, wishing I'd managed to meet you before this whole thing hit. Besides, it's a full supermoon tonight, and I've just had bath, lit a candle as part of a little ritual to help manifest your goddamn ass, and I'm intending to take up this practice of writing to you on the reg. Treat it like a journal entry, if you will, combined with intention setting / manifestation vibes, because I'm bloody impatient to meet you at this stage, I tell ya. I'm sick of being alone, of no one having my back, of never fully feeling like I belong anywhere. I want a partner in crime. I want someone to go on adventures with and cuddle at night, and especially in the mornings. I want to have that ride or die companion who will be solid. Someone who'll look for me at a festival or come to get food with me when everyone else is at the campsite or on the dance floor. I want to feel like a team with someone. I've been scared to death that I won't find you, that I'll be alone forever, that my unlucky trend with men will never end. But surely that's unrealistic. Plus, this sort of magic supermoon letter writing shit is surely some potent, powerful stuff, right? I wrote my first letter to you a year ago. I think it was 2 years though, actually. Yeah, it was 2 years. And though I really thought I would have met you by now, I must accept that it must not be the time yet, and redouble my efforts now by reading out your letter every night by a ceremonial candle before placing crystals on it and meditating by visualizing what it will feel like to be with you. Now, if that witchy shit doesn't do the trick, I don't know what will. Crystals, for fuck's sake. I'm not even a big crystal gal. Anyway, I feel and try to visualize things like us having a cuddle in bed after I wake up in the morning to reach over and snuggle into your back. You, a big, ambiguous, unknown, shape-shifting kind of man, roll over and draw me in close, and we inhale each other and savor the time in bed before getting up to go and walk to a cafe for breakfast or chai. I imagine you standing behind me at a gig with your arms around me as I lean back into your chest. I imagine the feeling that someone else in the world is hyper aware of me, thinks about me, wonders about me, and takes me into account in their plans and life because they really care about me in a special way. I imagine the feeling of being loved deeply, someone really truly wanting me just as much as I want them. Honestly, it's such simple things that I try to feel and visualize when I'm meditating on you. But gosh, those simple things are going to be so delish and so appreciated when I finally experience them for real. I'll finish up here for tonight with a funny thing that happened earlier when I'd just left the bath and lay naked on my bed with mild heat stroke. Dante, my kitten, who had never seen me naked close up before, was fascinated by my nipples. He kept trying to lick and nibble on them like he thought they might be tasty treats. It was equally funny and fucked up. I videoed it for my friend Jackie. So basically, I think I just made my first amateur bestiality porno. Jeez, full moon, hey? Oh my god, I fully did not remember that I'd written all of this. Fuck, so good.
Hey, Babe Towns. So sorry to interrupt, but I simply had to pop my head into the lounge here and mention another virtual lounge that you've got to get around. It's the Labia Lounge Facebook group that I've created for listeners of the potty to mingle in. And there you'll find extra bits and bobs like freebies or discounts for offerings from guests who've been interviewed on the podcast, inspiring and thought-provoking conversations, and support from a community of labial legends. I also have an account on the fab new app Sunroom, which is a platform created by women for women and non-binary folk, and where there's no shadow banning or censorship of sex-positive content, unlike with the other platforms that I'm on. So you can hit up my Sunroom for extra content and real and raw life updates, because I'll be sharing on there from now on all of the stuff that I can't post anywhere else. My vision for both of these is that they become really supportive, educational, and hilarious resources for you to have more access to me and a safe space to ask questions that you can't ask anywhere else. So head over to the links in the show notes and I'll hopefully see you in there. And now, back to the episode.
So then, in another letter, and it's so, I feel really a bit emotional reading this because, you can hear from the way I'm writing, I was just so lonely and so, I was feeling pretty defeated at this point after having a pretty bad run with dudes and just being like, wow, I thought that I thought it would be easier, to find someone who was special and appreciated how special I was. And I think my self-esteem was just taking such a hit from so many just crappy things, that, yeah, I was in that space, which is quite sad to think about now. So on the 8th of the 5th, 2020, dear beloved, I still feel a bit wanky doing this, but I'm also pretty into it as a cute exercise and experiment. I ate risotto made with pine mushrooms that I picked in Healesville tonight, with a little serve of magic ones too. The season has just started and I've been enjoying picking and foraging a lot lately. It gives me another wholesome, exciting thing to occupy myself with while in isolation, and the nature element is a huge bonus right now. I've been punching the dating apps pretty hard of late, trying to find you, but also just knowing that I probably need to chill out on that front and stop trying so hard to find you, rather waiting for you to find me and 10 page, just getting, rather waiting for you to find me and just getting hella magnetic so that I draw you in with my infectious, super dope energy. I can't bloody wait to gaze into your eyes for the first time while we're on mushrooms together. And yeah, this is like a coming out fucking episode because I'm talking about doing psychedelics, which is controversial. But anyway, they're practically legal. Look at the studies, guys. If you've got judgment or stigma around that. I can't wait to feel myself falling in love with you and notice how you're becoming increasingly and unbelievably attractive to me. You know how when you like start liking someone, you fall in love with them and they just get hotter and hotter? I can't wait to find my favorite nooks in your body where my face fits perfectly, or the ways that our bodies tessellate in the most pleasing fashion. Good night, sweet fang. How romantic am I, guys? What the fuck? Lachie is a lucky guy. 18th of the 5th, 2020. Dearest, things in my world are so chaotic and wild that I often feel utterly ungrounded and unsettled. I long to have someone to debrief with, confide in, and mull things over with when everything feels so overwhelming. I can already imagine the feeling of calm and safety that being in your embrace will bring when I'm feeling untethered like this. I find I feel untethered in a slightly and sometimes significantly disturbing way, like floating around trying to do life solo is akin to being without an anchor. I think being part of a unit, a team, a partnership will be so grounding and comforting for me and allow me to achieve so much more, flourishing, thriving, and growing, and being content instead of dissatisfied and unsettled. I can't wait to tell you about a situation going on in my life and have you listen supportively and help me decide what to do or how to handle it, or get excited with me and for me when something dope happens. I can't wait to feel invested in one another's lives, growth, and happiness. We're slowly easing out of isolation now, and I'm almost nervous for life to go on as usual because I rather like the slower pace and lack of busyness that has come with COVID-19. I barely feel able to cope usually, so it's been a great change of pace for me, and I only wish you were around to make the most of all this free time with me. I can't wait to go on a road trip with you and spend half the day in bed with you. Wow, okay. So this must be getting really close to when I met him because I met him in like a little 2-week gap in between isolation, like in between lockdowns in Melbourne. Dear Bay, I think I actually feel like I am going to meet you soon. A lot more changes happening in my world at the moment, yet again, but all for the better, and things will feel a bit more balanced and true. And things will feel a bit more balanced and true to me now with the house to myself. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, so I had housemates throughout the first lockdown, which was hectic, and then I had the house to myself. I had a phenomenal experience the other night with Schwartik and some great tunes. I've never felt such bliss and hope and faith in the future and my connections with friends. It was beautiful, raw, expressive, deep, creative, free, unashamed, and inspired. Yeah, I think there was lots of singing and dancing and connection. We were on a level I've never been on before. I felt like everything was going to be okay, better than okay, and that the world was actually a safe, wondrous place where I could have this level of love and trust and bliss anytime. It was huge. I found myself back in my element like never before and thinking about how special and incredible it will be when I get to experience being on that level with you, whoever you are. I got a slight glimpse of you potentially actually being Fernandez, but who knows if that was just because he's such good pals with those guys and would have fitted perfectly into our vibe that night. This is me being like, maybe it was, so and so. I can't wait to introduce you to my friends and then have them fall in love with you as I will have. I can't wait to have wild nights like that with you too. But my God, I'm so bloody grateful to have friends like them and have experiences of such exquisiteness like that. Oh, it's so nice. My whole life have felt like the world is this unsafe, scary place. And, there's a lot of childhood trauma and conditioning that goes into that. But, yeah, I guess in these letters, there's like glimpses of not feeling like that, which is pretty cute. So 28th of the 5th, 2020. Dear Boo, what a day. Spent all day trimming the latest harvest from the garden with the gang, and I'm now finally wrapped up in a dressing gown, about to hit the hay. My sis and I spent the last couple of hours together once everyone had left, finishing the last of the work while listening to 90s and noughties R&B and pop bangers and belting them out with loads of extra and giggles. That was my favourite part of the day. V cute. I look forward to when you are part of the team during these times and we sit there together to work and chat or listen to tunes, maybe smoke a spliff while we work. Afterwards, we will have a much-deserved bath and get cozy in bed together, satisfied with our day's work. Okay. 16th of the 6th, 2020. So this is like just over a month before I first started writing these journal entries. Sup, sugar nips? Wowzers, I think I may have just met you. For real. I hesitate to even write the name down on paper lest I jinx it or I'm wrong, but regardless, I am having the most ludicrously perfect time of it with an incredibly special human who fits the bill, and I'm almost certain he must be you. The OG love letter I wrote you so perfectly describes him that I'm still reeling in disbelief. The times we have shared this last week have far surpassed anything I thought was possible. And even if he is, in fact, not you, these times are showing me what's important to me in a partner and what's actually possible with someone. It's setting the bar insanely high, and I can't wait to have more times like this with you. Go to new and deeper levels with you. Talk and laugh and make love all fucking night on the floor with you. Massage and eat food in the bath and get hella hedonistic inside our lush love bubble. All the times we'll have. I know what I'm looking for and what I want more than ever now. I'm enjoying sharing every little part of me through stories, adventures, sending links to songs and YouTube videos, and eye-gazing as we make love. It's all so yummy and so real. It's all so possible to have with someone. And I'd almost forgotten, almost given up hope. Now my faith is restored 1,000-fold, and I'm so fucking grateful. I fancy traveling Australia with you, moving interstate for a while with you, having a partner in crime, a solid companion of the highest, most compatible quality. Hot damn! I can't bloody wait. Much love. See you soon. Oh my god! And just a little teaser, spoiler. It was Lachie. He was the person I was writing about, and I'd just met him that week in between lockdowns. And I fucking talk about moving interstate with him and shit, and here I am. I've moved to WA for love.
Excuse the interruption, my loves, but I'm shamelessly seeking reviews and 5-star ratings for the potty because, as I'm sure you've noticed by now, it's pretty fab. And the more people who get to hear it, the more people it can help. Reviews and ratings help me curry favour with the algorithmic gods and get suggested to other listeners to check out. Plus, they make me feel really good and appreciated as I continue to pour my heart and soul into creating this baby for you. And I promise I don't mazz over them or anything. I mostly just tuck them away for a rainy day when I'm filled with self-doubt and existential dread about being self-employed, which is fairly frequently. So you see, leaving a review really does make a difference, and it's an easy little act of support that you can take in just a minute or two by either going to Spotify and leaving 5 stars for the show or writing a written review and leaving 5 stars over on Apple Podcasts. Choose your poison, or if you're a real overachiever, you could do both. Whoa now. If you are writing a review though, just be sure to only use G-rated words because despite the fact that this is a podcast about sexuality, words like sex can be censored and your review won't actually show up. Lame. Anyway, oh, what was that? Oh, you're going to go do it right now while I wait. Okay. Yeah. No, that's a great idea. May as well just quickly click that 5-star button before we get on with it and, forget about it and get on with your day. I'm hearing them roll in. I'm hearing those 5 stars. Oh my God, I make myself cringe. Anyway, thank you much, Lee. You're a total gem, and I'll let you get back to the episode now.
So then another letter after that, a month later. Darling heart, gosh, it's been a month since last I wrote. Time flies when you're falling in love. I've experienced depths of connection and love with this new person who I suspect/hope might be you that neither of us were expecting. It has been exquisite, exciting, terrifying, and huge. I've either finally found you or I'm being prepared for you in the most spectacular fashion. My heart opening and my mind being blown. I'm having the most healing crygasms for the first time since I was with Max and first experienced them. I'm tapping into a part of myself that has lain dormant for the last couple of years. I'm feeling powerful and fragile all at once, and I'm having an insane amount of fun. I can't wait to do more of this with you. Cooking incredible feasts together and for each other in the kitchen, running cute little errands as we walk around the town, dropping things off to neighbours and picking urban foraged fruits from trees that we find on our walk, doing yoga in the morning together and then rolling out of Shavasana to make love before breakfast, snuggling with Dante in bed together because he will eventually warm to you and treat you like he does me. Almost. Have a seamless tag team operation going when I've got to get some work done and you clean up the kitchen or cook us a meal and we both finish up at the same time and come back together, satisfied with our productivity and efficiency as a team. What a loser I am. But seriously, it's a beautiful thing. You should see that shit go down. We are a really great team in that way. These things I so look forward to, and that's why I light a candle yet again tonight to help this dream along a little more. I'm manifesting hard out for you, baby, because you're worth it. Oh. All right, here's another one. We're getting closer to the end now. Hi, baby boo. Today was ace. I got loads of wholesome, nourishing shit in, as well as productive, proactive stuff too, and I'm going to bed satisfied. I wrote a letter to my dad with Ari, my sister, and it was an emotional, difficult, painful process, but in the end we managed it and feel all the better for it. It was like a cathartic therapy session almost. I don't know what's going to come of it now, but it's a huge release to have at least gotten it done. I hope that by the time you and I get hitched, things with him are resolved and I no longer carry the trauma and negative conditioning from him that affects my relationships and mental health. I want to be free of it and open to love, open to your love. I am now off to snuggle with Dante and dream of your sure, loving, warm arms around me. Night. 18th of the 7th, 2020. Hey sugar, I had another super beautiful day today, without you too. It usually feels like something's missing, but lately I've been finding so much nourishment and joy and comfort in my friendships and lifestyle that I feel a kind of contentment and excitement for life that I have rarely felt. Maybe this is partly because of having new love and romance in my life too, but I truly feel I'm in a better place than ever before in my day-to-day life and relationships. Even when not in the presence of this new love, I feel content and patient about when I might see him next, you next, rather than needy, insecure, obsessive, or frantic, as I certainly have been in the past when a new love comes in. It feels healthy. I feel healthy. Even amidst all of this uncertainty and turmoil in the world, I still feel solid. Still, can't wait to have you in my life full time. That'll be bloody nice as. Haha. The 5th of the 8th, 2020. Dearest darling heart, it was a full moon last night and I am bleeding. I thought I'd do some intention setting and some visioning with this powerful energy for the month. I see us going for walks in the bush and along the beach, rugged up cozily with a warm fire waiting for us back at home for when we return. I see us finding and creating new depths of connection and love that is so pure and so undeniable that we can't help be excited and trusting of it. I see us traveling hand in hand into love together, fearless because it just feels right and we know there's nothing else we'd rather do. I see us dreaming of our future together, making plans and building the vision. I see things progressing smoothly for us. I see my house situation resolving smoothly too, and me finding a house with ease that fits perfectly. I feel myself in flow and easily moving forward, gently and slowly, but surely, with an element of trusting surrender. Things present themselves at the right time as I need them. You and I are strong. I see us cooking together happily and playing with Dante lovingly. I see us tending to a fire together and anticipating one another's thoughts, needs, and movements. I see us being brave and flowing with our new love, allowing it to continue to develop and deepen. I see us making memories and layering our foundation for our future together as an official couple. I see us Skype/Zooming with your family over in WA. I see us integrating into one another's lives increasingly and loving it as we get to know one another more and more. I see us making love and crying together. So I guess we would have been seeing each other for only 2 or 3 months then. So it was still super fresh, and I was like trying to do everything I could with my little manifestation rituals to like help it along. And it still felt like, it felt great and sure, but also I had so much anxious attachment and so much like trauma around love and relationships and trust. Like it was, I was still terrified that it was going to slip away or something would happen and it wouldn't work out and then I'd be back to square one. But even worse, because I wouldn't have him, because I was so convinced he was my person. So I'm just remembering like, yeah, it was so beautiful, but so intense as well. Hey, boo, 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 boo. Dang, guess I haven't written since last full moon again. Hey, the moon reminds me to delve back into intention and vision setting, I guess. We just worked in the garden all day and it's been a bit of a slog. I can't wait to have a garden with you and grow our own food and potter in the garden and around the house with you. We've totally been smashing that as well, by the way. Cook food from our garden and dance around the kitchen together, with kids joining in with us one day. Domestic bliss with you just feels so possible and so lush to me. Cheese platters and chai on the deck and picnic spreads at the beach together. I can see us living this dream. And then the last letter that I wrote was on the 17th of the 9th, 2020. New moon tonight. I'm having a super hard time, but I'm going to vision myself a new home down on the coast here now. In a few weeks' time, Al and I will have secured a lovely place to live and create a beautiful, nurturing home in a lush spot on the Ninch. We'll be close to our dear friends Amber and Nath. We'll have a garden and spend time outdoors doing yoga and listening to music and the sounds of nature, going to the beach and lying in the sun with books and healthy food that we've bought locally or grown ourselves. I can feel the relaxing vibes of the coast already and the restful, regenerating lifestyle that we'll have, allowing our nervous systems to calm down and our bodies and hearts to heal and quieten down. I can't wait to spend more time with you, my love, down by the ocean and in nature. Massages on the beach, doing our best not to let sand get stuck in the oil, looking at your sun-soaked golden brown skin, eyes brighter than usual from being in the ocean because it's your natural habitat and it makes everything about you glisten and pop. Can't wait to spend summer days at the beach with you and barbecue in the yard on the balmy evenings, introduce you to my family at Christmas, and watch you fit right in and laugh and drink merrily with Gaz and Mon. Uncle Gaz and Auntie Mon, shout out, legends. Rapping and singing in the car on long road trips together. I'm dreaming and looking forward to sharing all that with you. I'm ready to enter a new chapter.
Hey, me again. If you'd like to support the potty and you've already given it 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening on, I want to mention that you can buy some really dope merch from the website and get yourself a Labia Lounge tote, tee, togs. Yep, you heard that right. I even have Labia Lounge bathers. Or a cute fanny pack if that'd blow your hair back. So if fashion isn't your passion though, you can donate to my Buy Me a Coffee donation page, which is actually called Buy Me a Soy Chai Latte, because I'll be the first to admit I'm a bit of a Melbourne cafe tosser like that. And yes, that is my coffee order. You can do a once-off donation or an ongoing membership and sponsor me for as little as 3 fat ones a month. And I also have a Sunroom profile over on the Sunroom app, as I've mentioned. And I also offer one-on-one coaching and online courses that'll help you level up your sex life and relationship with yourself and others in a really big way. So every bit helps, because it ain't cheap to put out a sweet podcast into the world every week out of my own pocket. So I will be undyingly grateful if you support me and my biz financially in any of these ways. And if you like, I'll even give you a mental BJ with my mind from the lounge itself. Saucy. I'll pop the links in the show notes. Thank you. Later.
Whoa, okay. And then they kind of just drop away because I lost the commitment to the journaling practice. But that is the end of the little saga that began with that one letter years ago. And and I pulled them all out the other day for the first time in, 2.5 years and read them to Locke, and it was such a special, cute little time, and seemed like this amazing, like, full circle thing where I'd written these letters to this person before I knew him, and now I was reading them to him years later. So anyway, I don't really know how to wrap this up now, but that was a little glimpse into my journey to manifest my person, and since then, we have completely fallen head over heels for one another. I moved over to WA a year and a half ago because that's where he's from. And we've been veggie gardening and cooking and singing and dancing and going on like doing all of the things ever since. And I mean, obviously, it doesn't come without its challenges. But I think because of his secure attachment style and the fact that we were so compatible and it just worked so well, we were able to avoid all of that sort of crappy, anxious and avoidant attachment style bullshit that can sabotage things early on. And he was just so willing and open for love to grow that there were never any closed doors. It was always just like, oh, well, I guess let's just keep moving forward and letting this develop, which was super beautiful because I'd never been with someone like that who was so willing. I'd had partners who were like, I'm so completely in love with you, but I am not ready for something serious yet, or I don't want to do monogamy, or I've still got to have my hoe phase and play the field, and like I'm too young or whatever. So I was just like so grateful to have met someone who was really stable, really steady, really, I mean, it was not a good time for him when we met. He was pretty fresh out of a big relationship. He was living stuck in Melbourne during lockdown. Like he totally didn't expect it to come and sideswipe him, but at the same time, he didn't shut it down or remain closed to it just because the timing wasn't right. He was just always like honest about where he was at and what he could offer in terms of emotional availability and commitment, but he was always open to it if that's what was feeling good. He never was like, this is bad timing, I need to have an enforced period of time to heal or to be single or do my own thing. Like he was just like, yeah, obviously I'm still grieving and getting over my last relationship. I still have a lot of love for my ex. This is a big part of who I am. But if you can understand that and be patient, then like I'm happy to just keep letting this flow how it flows, and we'll see what happens, because it just felt so good and it felt so right. And neither of us wanted to I guess halt it in its tracks if it was feeling so great, even though maybe conventionally it would have been like, oh, hang on, like you've only been single for 3 months, don't you need to like go and do some soul searching and It was like, we were just healing and growing alongside one another and also falling in love at the same time. And I'm just so grateful that it worked out that way, because on paper it might not have. So anyway, that's just a super long, big, self-indulgent solo cast about my love life. And I would love to hear your thoughts, whether this was helpful, whether you cringed and laughed along with me while I was reading that, if you can relate to any of it. And also, if you would like to get Lachie, the infamous love of my life, on the potty, because I feel like a little bit of audience pressure could go far. So maybe post in the Facebook group or send me a message or leave a comment on this Effie or something when I post it on Instagram. And let's rally. Let's all rally and see if we can get Lach on here. So anyway, that is a wrap, my lovely lump. and this will be the last episode that I'll be publishing at the end of the season. And when this comes out, I'll be over in Melbourne performing with a live Pussy Couch. And then when I come back, I'll show you. I'll have some footage of that, I guess. So I don't know if it'll be like a 2-week or a 3-week break. Whenever I can get my shit together after I get back from Melbourne and move to Perth, I'll start recording episodes again. But this is it for now, for the time being. So yeah, thank you so much if you've listened to this epi and you've stuck with me. I hope you found it interesting and cute. And yeah, I love you all so much. Just thank you for supporting, this podcast and my vision and my work, my little solo business. And definitely get in touch if you felt any of this resonated or moved you, and share it with someone that might find it helpful or insightful as well. All right, babes. Catch you later, Tatum.
And that's it, darling hearts. Thank you for stopping by the Labia Lounge. Your bum groove in the couch will be right where you left it, just waiting for you to sink back in for some more double L action next time. And in the meantime, if you'd be a dear and subscribe, share this episode, or leave a review on iTunes, then you can pat yourself on the snatch, because that, my dear, is a downright act of sex-positive feminist activism. And you'd be supporting my vision to educate, empower, demystify, and destigmatize with this here podcast. Also, I'm always open to feedback, topic ideas that you'd love to hear covered, or guest suggestions. So feel free to get in touch via my website at freyagraph.com, or say hey over on Insta. My handle is Freya_graph_YMT, and I seriously hope you're following me on there, because damn, we have fun. We have fun. Anyway, later labial legends. I'll see you next time.